everybody. How are you doing? I am trying something new today. I'm going to try to sit and craft. We did it last week. It worked great, and I think that I can do this a little bit better if I am able to do that. So today we're going to look at shaker cards. We're going to make some fun interactive cards, and I don't know if any of you have had this trouble before, but sometimes with Altenew products, I don't see as many shaker opportunities as you would think. And so sometimes you need to kind of think outside the box a little bit to make sure that you can see those. There will be times that I have to stand up in this live stream because I'm not used to crafting this way. And I'm trying to read the chat a little bit better, but it is a new thing for me. I've got a new screen, and we've got Rachel out there who is helping us out. She volunteered to help me watch the chat because it is so hard to read and craft at the same time. So I'm so thankful to her. Please give her lots of thumbs up and tell her thank you so much for doing that for us. I know sometimes that we don't get to all the questions because either I don't see them or, she may be able to answer some of those all along too. So I just want to make sure that we give her a big thumbs up for that, and make sure if you haven't done it yet that you subscribe and you like this video, okay? Today, I have an exclusive Altenew code, okay? So stay tuned. I'm not going to throw it out there just yet, but I am going to throw out an exclusive Altenew code. Before we do that, let me show you generally the idea of an Altenew shaker card, okay? What I came up with. We're going to do something slightly different, and I am going to create a full video on my YouTube channel with this, okay? But I want to show you real quick. Look at all these. So Altenew is coming out with sequins, and they have lots of cool colors. I'm going to show you those up close so that you can see. And we're going to make some fun, like, interactive cards with them. So one thing I wanted to see, let's see. So yes, there's a mod today, moderator. That's what Rachel is today. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my overhead camera, and we're going to look at a couple new things. I wanted to tell you about a couple things that while we do this, we will be heavy into stenciling. So if you've got a large flower that you want to stencil along with me today, do that. Let me go to this overhead, make sure we got everything ready there. Put my face up here so you can read my lips if you need to. Is that okay for everybody? You're hearing well? I see the chat going off, so yay. Thanks for telling. Rachel, thank you. So here we go. This is the card that I was just showing you. This is one that will be on my channel. This one's a little bit more complicated than what we're going to make today, but it's the same general principle. If you've never made a shaker card, I'm going to make sure to make it as simple as I possibly can so that you can see these. So today we're going to use a large stencil. The other thing that made me kind of think about this in my craft room was that sometimes I do like a huge stencil on a card, and I'm just not really sure what I want to do with that. So we're going to be using this Altenew Mega Blossom. If you haven't ever seen this one, it is huge. Okay, it's a huge flower. It takes up all of the card, and I thought it'd be really cool to create this in these beautiful pink colors using the new sequins that are coming out, I believe, in June from Altenew. So you can see they have got these new stellar, can't say it, sequins. New stellar sequins. This color is one that I really like. Sorry, I feel like that's pausing. Trying to see if you're seeing my hands move. Is it pausing? Okay. All right. So these are really fun. They've got lots of different colors, which I meant to grab. I actually might grab you another color so you can see. No, they've got lots of golds. They've got some, these are the only pink ones that they have right now. They've got some mauve, that kind of thing. Sorry if that camera sometimes pauses about right now, but we're going to use those. We're going to use simple dies, and we're going to create a beautiful card. I haven't even decided. I'm going to probably let y'all pick what you think the sentiment should be, because I think that we've got lots of options, and we could make a really cool card that's pretty simple, but it's going to have this element to it that's going to be amazing. So I love how these pink sequins look with pink ink blending. Super cool. These also match. I want to show you kind of what they match, because that's one thing that I'm always looking for in my card making is, like, they call this twinkling pink, but what actually in Altenew does it match? Well, here's the group of inks that I feel like it matches the best with, and we'll show you that through there. Frosty Pink, Coral Berry, sorry, Ruby Red, which I'm going to drop, sorry, Ruby Red, and Grapevine. So this set of pinks, sorry, I have to keep touching that every now and then. Okay, this set of pinks is what seems to work the best so far when I've tried this technique. So the nice thing about these sequins is that we have so many different sizes. We have 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters, 5, 6, and 8. So you've got tons of stuff, and it's just amazing. So I'm going to see if there's any questions really quick. Okay, lots of shake. Yes, I'm going to tell you some really key ideas for making these where where all the sequins don't get like stuck to the side. So we'll work on that. So let me get out my products to start doing the ink blending, because the ink blending will be probably our biggest part of the card, that and building the shaker card. So let me go ahead and get out my sticky mat. Have you guys, are y'all getting prepared? Are there lots of Mother's Day celebrations going on this weekend? I think this card would be a great card for that. So I kind of just was feeling the pinks today. Not that I don't always feel the pinks. I mean, really, if you know me, you know I feel the pinks a lot. So I am so organized today, okay? I've got some dies that I'm going to use that are rectangles. I've got everything out and ready. So let's just see how that ends up working, okay? We're going to start with our Bristol Smooth. I'm using an A2. I will have to sometimes stand up in this stream. So Monica, I see, do you like the rounds or the cubes better? So for storage purposes, I like the cubes a little bit better. I would love to have the bigger ones, but I just don't have anywhere to put those. So, you know, I just kind of go with, at least I can store the mini ones, and they really are very juicy and stay great for a while. Thank you, Robin, for loving my nails. It's Nicki Hearts Cards Nails again. This is what we did last week. I don't know if you were here at my last live or not, but we had a really good time. Okay. All right, so we've got this Mega Blossom. I'm going to show you how to set this up, because these very big stencils, you need to kind of make a plan. So I'm not just going to start stenciling without making a plan of where this is going to go. Okay. All right, so this right here is the big stem. So I want to kind of look. This one actually right here has a good view. I don't know if you can see the outline, but it has the outline of the flower so that I can make sure that I get enough of it on my card. I want to make sure I leave a little space for some type of sentiment up at the top. And this flower actually faces this way. I'm sure you could flip your stencils over and try to do it the other way. I'm just going to go with which way it was made to be from Altenew, because I don't want to worry about I flip one the wrong way and we've got all the wrong things going on. So a couple things I wanted to pop in here while I get my colors ready and grab my different supplies. I wanted to tell y'all that I'm going to be, I poked that up. I'm going to poke it up again in a second. You might have missed it. That I'm going to be teaching at the Stress-Free Card Making Summit. And this is happening next week. So part of the reason that Altenew gave me a coupon code is because they know that people may want to buy their supplies. So while I get my inks out and ready, we're going to start with our greens here. Can you see those greens? We're going to start with our greens. While I do this, that you could get ready and get your supplies. So I will pop up that coupon code, okay? So let's see here. Boom, boom. I would love it, y'all. You do have to use with the coupon code. You do need to use my affiliate link, which Rachel will pop in there. So while I'm getting this stuff together, I will pop that up real quick. I'll pop it back up again in a little bit, okay? So we got it right here. It's $10 off $89, okay? So I am going to make sure my camera's not pausing. And I'm going to use, let's see how many layers we have. We have 3 layers of this green. So I'm going to start, I'm going to put them in order first of all. I think I'm going to do the 3 darkest. I'm not going to start with that super, super light one. And we're going to do this. So let me see if we got any questions. Oh, yay, Carrie. I'm glad you're going to be there. Okay, so Rachel's popping in links and all kinds of things. I also will show you what I'm making at that summit in just a minute, but let's go ahead and get started on some ink blending. You guys will have to kind of bear with me because when I'm ink blending, a lot of times I am crafting standing up, so this is a little bit new for me. So if I need to stand up, you may just see I may have to go out of the frame a little bit at times to line things up the way that I need to. But I figured last week we did a nice live and I sat at my dining room table while I was having some stuff put in, and I was interacting there, and really it kind of saved me a little bit. Standing up and talking for 2 hours or an hour and a half can be a little bit draining. And so I thought, well, let me just attempt to do these lives sitting down. Maybe that'll help me be less nervous and be able to have more fun and see the chat. So yay. I saw somebody else has signed up for the stress free. Yay. So the stress free card making summit is it's one of those things where it's a lot of different people. So there's like 20 people there, and they are all doing fun folds and interactive cards. And I'm going to be doing an infinity shaker card. So it's just lots and lots of fun, and it's real laid back, but lots of fun, lots of great speakers. I see KT from Milwaukee. Yay, somebody's already brought their VIP pass. So make sure if you do sign up for that conference that you use my link to it. That really helps me out, one, to get asked back to do these conferences, and also just to, if you do decide to buying anything, of course, it gives me that affiliate link. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to keep this stenciling pretty simple so that we can move ahead pretty quick, because I want you to get to the shaker part. So with Altenew stencils, they have multi-parts. I usually go light to dark on my stenciling, and I think that tends to work pretty well because I'm kind of moving from the bigger open areas to the smaller, and that's where I get more of those details, So let me show you real quick, if I've got it here. Let me show you what I'm making at the summit really quick, so that I know y'all are talking about it, so we can pop it in here. This is what I'm making. It's the shaker card. We're using all Altenew products. The sequins are not from Altenew because they hadn't made sequins yet when this first came out. So this set right here, y'all got to see this. If you don't have this die set, this is a great one. Do y'all have this? It's Timeless Sentiments 2, and it's got these huge things. It really is very nice. Highly recommend, and it'll be on a supply list. So let's go in with our second green. Let me see. Yay, lots of people are going to be attending the summit. That's so good. I'm excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and go in with my darker green, and I'm just being careful, hopefully not to hit any of this. So I'm going to kind of cover it up with my finger. You can cover that up with some type of Post-it note. There's so many ways that you can do that, but I'm trying to not take forever, so I'm going to do that. Oh, good. I'm glad lots of people are signed up for the summit. So how many out there are here because it's Altenew? How many are here because you just are hanging out and wanted to see shaker cards? I'd love to hear a little bit more about all that from you. So I'm going to go in. Yes, I'm not doing my neatest ever job on stenciling, but it's going to get the job done. It's going to look awesome because this stencil, I tell you, you could mess this stencil up and it would look amazing. It's so cool. So cool. So I'm going to get some of this in here. And like I said, I'm just doing my best to get some coverage, okay? So, okay, we got our second layer of green, which is just green. Yay. Hey, Arlene, thank you. You're here because it's Nicki. Thanks, I appreciate that. Okay, here's our second layer of that beautiful trunk here. And then we got our third layer, and then we're going to move to those crazy, amazing pinks, okay? So let's see. So tell me what your plans are for the weekend. I am going to use a little bit of this. I'd love to hear. And y'all tell me too, you got any things you want to see soon on YouTube? Just give me some ideas. I love hearing them. Okay. I'm trying to keep, so if you see me looking at my brushes, I'm trying to keep a light green brush and a dark green brush It's kind of a new experiment for me. I a lot of times don't pay attention to that too much. And especially when I'm crafting here, I don't want to be able washing a brush off. So I'm trying to keep up with that. All right, so shaker cards are one of those things that can seem intimidating, but they really, once you know how to build them, you can build them out of so many different things. And it really takes very basic dies to build them. We'll talk about ways to stack them up that will work for, if you don't have foam tape or anything like that. I would say the things that I feel like are the most necessary for the shaker is some type of die, just so you can cut open a window. You're definitely going to need something either like acetate or vellum, something like that to be your window. So you always need something that's your window. Okay, so here's the stem of this. Now we get to go in with the flower. I gotta line this up sitting down, so give me just a second. Sometimes I can't chew bubble gum and walk, which means I can definitely not line up a stencil and talk at the same time. So I'm going to use a little bit of paper tape just to kind of hold the edge down, and also when I get a little crazy with my ink blending, so that I don't go off onto this beautiful white paper, because we need to keep our white paper beautiful and white so that this looks right, okay? Because we're going to make an awesome mat. And yeah, this is, so I see some people asking how you sign up for the summit. So Rachel's going to drop in there. She just, I think, dropped in the link to sign up for the summit. So you can do that, and it is free. There are options to have a VIP ticket, which means that you get some extra classes. I have an extra pre-recorded class that won't get released to YouTube or anything like that. That's just for that summit. So you've got lots of options. So here's our color combos. We've got 4 different sets on this flower. So we're just going to start from our lightest and go. Okay. So guys, are y'all liking having a moderator? Because I am. Thank you, Rachel. I feel so much more calm having you there, Rachel. We're going to use some interesting blending brushes, okay? I'm going to pop, just in case people are wondering if you're looking at these Altenew supplies, I am going to pop up once again when the summit is. It's May 16th through 18th. And I'm also going to pop up that Altenew exclusive code for just a second, okay? So you'll have that. Of course, Rachel will probably put that in there. You do need to use my affiliate link to get this code to work. It's basically Alta with the E and then my name, Nicki, N-I-C-K-I. Make sure you spell my name right. Otherwise, it won't work. It's always a little complicated with Nicki. So I'm trying to line my brushes up because I'm kind of thinking how I'm going to do this. So I've got my lightest, my medium, and my dark pinks, okay? And that's how I've been keeping my brushes lately. I don't know how y'all store yours, but I've been trying to keep like a very light colored brush, because something like this frosty pink is so light that you're just gonna have trouble getting the right color if you don't keep a brush specifically for light colors. You can always clean brushes, of course. And this one, y'all will probably even have trouble seeing it on camera. I'm gonna do it quickly, but it is one of those colors that's very light and you may have a little trouble seeing. So I will show you, and then I'll show you kind of too like what those sequins look like next to it, and of course we'll do those over the end as well. I do have this dark red out, and we will use that for a couple of areas, but I'm going to try to kind of mix it in with the pink to keep this a mostly pink flower. So when you're ink blending, you've got your colors. The nice thing about Altenew is they've got these 4 sets of colors, which a lot of times their stencils and things are made so that you can color them pretty easily. Sorry, I'm going to cover up this part. I'm afraid I'm going to go over on there. And then you've got an easy color family, but you can also mix those colors to create your own. All right, let's see what we got here. See if anybody, lots of hello from Kentucky, Michigan, Guatemala. How cool is that? Hi from Guatemala. I'm so glad you're coming to craft with us today. We are going to make an elegant, I'm calling this elegant shaker cards, because most of the time when I think of a shaker card, I kind of think of it like a birthday card, something fun for the kids, that kind of thing. But everybody loves sparkle. So we're going to make one that is using these wonderful Altenew florals to create a really elegant one. So somebody says they don't have many ink pads, so they just have individual blending brushes for each. Yeah, that's a good way to keep it. I've thought about labeling these. I just don't have enough. So I actually only have like of these Altenew brushes. I think I have 16, and there's so many inks that I have these little ink pads of that I don't have enough. So, okay, so I'm going to say that's my flower and assume that part of this is going to get covered with other colors. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of keep it pretty simple. See how light that is? So we're keeping it pretty simple. I may come in and touch just to make sure that my edges are okay. I may come in with a little bit of the coral berry. And when I mean a little bit, I'm talking like just really dab it off, and just to make sure that I've got an edge that you can see, because this color is so close. And I can see this edge perfectly fine, but on camera you may not be able to see it if I don't add just a little bit darker around it. Let's see. Hi. Yeah, a few basic colors are really, you can get away with that for sure. What else was I going to tell you guys? Oh, I want to show y'all some of the extra bonus class stuff. So I'm just kind of adding just a little bit around the edge just to make sure we've got a good edge, okay? You see how that makes a difference? See how that makes a difference? Just giving it a little bit more. But I didn't really go into that next color. Okay, here's how we're going. We're getting there. Oh, somebody's in Atlanta. Oh, do not get out in that traffic, I bet, today. Atlanta's pretty close. You probably have similar accent to me. All right. Sorry, I have to not talk when I line it up just to make sure I'm here. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to definitely cover up this big open area because I want that to stay nice and white. I'm going to cover up right here. The reason I'm using tape is to cover, not because this mat is not sticky. This is the 9x12 Altenew mat. My favorite mat. If you're going to be using your $10 code and don't know what to buy, highly recommend. So our next color is going to be Coral Berry. Patty loves Sparkle. She said her dog's name is Sparkle. That's awesome. Okay, I got to look at my brushes again, trying to keep them organized. We'll go Coral Berry is this one. Okay, let's see here. My desk view camera keeps freezing. I know. I don't know what the deal is. I'm going to have to keep touching it, I think. I'm sorry about that, Arlene. I have to keep messing with the camera. And I've got it on don't go off, and it's still going off. So I'm not sure. I did have to like download an update right before I started. So I can just, if it doesn't drive you crazy, I'll just constantly like touch it and try to keep it from freezing, because it's one of those things when it's freezing, I can't do that. Yes, of course there'll be a replay today. Y'all just hang with me. When I can hear it when it freezes, it's just that it takes it a second to cut back on. So I'm going to have to occasionally touch it. Sorry about that, guys. I think Apple updated something today that may have made it a little bit difficult. And I love it when they do that on days that I'm going live. Don't y'all just love that? It's always like, what is happening? Why? I had it perfect last time. But there's always something changing. So tell me if it keeps on doing it, even with me touching it, okay? Yeah, you do have to make small adjustments while stenciling, just like wiggle. Yeah, because sometimes they're not always a perfect fit. These are pretty close, but yes, you know, your brush wiggles it a little bit too, so sometimes it's not exactly perfect. Oops, I made a big smudge there. Hit it again. Let's see how we're doing. Hi, Deborah. Thank you for joining us. We've got a moderator today, so if you have questions, Rachel's trying to help me get all those answered. We had one person last week who was upset that I couldn't see all the questions. I have finally gotten to where I've got another, I borrowed my kid's iPad and I can see that on the chat. So that is very helpful. But it's just one of those things, you know, it's like kind of a constant, everything's changing all the time. You're doing the best you can. So I appreciate all of y'all being here, even if I don't have the absolute perfect tech setup. Okay, let's see. Oops, I made a smudge right there in the middle. If you ever make a smudge, just keep on, okay? Just keep on going. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, y'all showing all the different blending brushes. So these are the blending brushes from Altenew. I like them because they're flat and they just really cover and get a lot of ink down. So these are ones that I love working with when I'm doing these layered stencils. I'm gonna show you a couple of different ones too. So you may see those laying over to the side. Uh-oh, it froze again. You may see these laying over to the side, and that is going to be something that we'll use too. So I'm going to show you different ways to use some of these brushes in your stenciling so that we can also talk about little stenciling stenciling details. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go here. We got 2 more layers of this, and then we're going to build our shaker. Look at how that's looking. Ah, that looks so good. This is so good. Yes, I'm sorry, Rachel, am I overwhelming you with links? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. We're just bear with Rachel. She is she's doing me a great favor, and I appreciate it so much. So don't be too hard on her. She's getting links out there, and she's saving me having to reach up and do something with the computer. So just FYI. So this mat is sticky, but since I'm going off of the card, which I think I just got a little bit of ink on there. Yeah, we may have to cut off an edge of that card, but that's okay. Got one little area right there that I got pink on. So a lot of times that I do these types of live streams, people ask, do you do a replay? Yes, I do a replay. If you're not a live stream type person, a lot of times I'll put this card and I'll do this other card that I did, and we'll build them both. So just know that a lot of times it's going to become a YouTube video as well. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because if you saw it in the live stream, I usually try to do another release of that video that's sped up in case you are not the live stream type person and you want to see it another way. So let's see here. Okay, ruby red is our next one. So this is about as dark as I'm going to go. I'm going to go with this one. I think I'm going to mix coral berry and ruby red in this one. So I'm going to use some of this coral berry, and then I'm going to come in with the ruby red kind of around the edges, okay? So we've kind of done our frosty pink. I'm going to put this over here just so I'm not touching it. Probably should move my dirty stencils too. I'll move those over. Okay, so we've got our coral berry right now. I'm going to come in pretty heavy-handed with the coral berry, and then we're going to take some ruby red around the edges, and then we're going to come in with our ruby red and do the last layer of super details. Oh yes. You had your colors dry out with your ink pads, somebody said? I am really bad about like leaving the tops off of these, and I haven't had any Altenew ones dry out. But I could see how that could definitely happen. I use mine all the time. Have you thought about just re-inking them and seeing how you do with the re-inker? And just see if that can bring them back to life. Just did an organization video that'll be out on Altenew's Instagram about how I store my re-inkers. So if you're like, what in the world do I do with these? It's something that when I first started stamping, I don't think I realized like that you could put ink back on the pads and get more life out of them. I think it took me a little while to figure that out. So I'm just making sure all of y'all know that. Let's see. Yes, Altenew stencils are gorgeous. They really are. This is one of my favorite all-time ones. I really love it. Of course, they're always coming out with new ones and new layers and stuff. I love that when you're stenciling one of these, that you can really like be pretty free with it, and it doesn't matter. It's the way the stencil works, it's gonna look amazing. Like if you make a big old mess or something, then it's okay. Okay, so Carrie said she found that the fresh dye inks are juicier. What are these, fresh? Yeah. So if you've had the older Altenew, these are definitely juicier inks. Definitely Carrie. Carrie's right on that one. Okay, so remember I said I was going to combine colors? So I'm going to come in with a little bit of ruby red, and we're gonna go kind of around the edges just to give this a little bit more color. I think I might use this one just to be safe in case we need to go back and add something. Okay, so now this is gonna be super dark, okay? Look at it over here. It's really dark, okay? So you need to be very cautious when you're coming in. Okay, so yeah, she's popping up the Altenew thing for us there in the, I always tap this off, sorry. Sometimes I need to finish my sentence. She's putting the Altenew code in the chat there so that y'all can use that. It is only good for 2 days, okay? Only good for 2 days. And if you are buying something Altenew, please try to use it. It lets them see that this is valuable and that you like watching my videos. And it also, of course, gives me a little bit of commission. But the main thing is that it tells Altenew that I am valuable and that you want to see more videos from me because you're using my code. So just make sure, okay? All right, let's see what we got. Love stencils. Yeah. What is I saw somebody said they like to use an ink refresher before they use the re-inker. I'm not sure I know what that is. So tell the chat for sure. I've never used a ink refresher. And is it okay for all the types of inks or is it just for a certain brand of ink? Okay, so we've come in from the sides with the ruby red. Now we're gonna do our super detailed layer with ruby red. Let me get this off. Okay. And this, look at all this. Oh my goodness. Isn't that amazing? I get so excited when I see it. Peeling a stencil off is so fun because you're just like even though you can kind of see the idea, when you peel it off, it's like, woo, that's amazing. So let me line up this last layer here. How are we doing on camera freezing? Has it been okay? I feel like it hasn't done it in a minute. Of course, that might jinx it. Okay, so Terry says it's a spray that you can use on water-based markers and inks. Interesting. But yeah, I would assume that you would want to double check that with your manufacturer of each ink. I have no idea if that's okay on Altenew inks or not, but it could be a problem for some inks. So just make sure you check. Okay. Alrighty, so we're gonna cover this little spot up. We're not gonna do grapevine. I thought I was gonna do grapevine, but I'm actually gonna go in with ruby red and we're gonna talk about using smaller blending brushes to get really different color results, okay? So we're gonna look at using this teeny brush. This one is called the micro blending brush, and it is, look at the size difference, okay? So you can get a whole lot more ink concentrated into areas. So especially when you're doing your detailed layer, which this is the 4th layer of the stencil, even though I've already used some ruby red, this is really gonna go in and make those dark shadows, okay? So it's a small, see how much smaller that is than like this? Let's see if we can tell. It's probably a 1/4 of the size maybe. Does that sound right? Okay. So I'm gonna go in and add those dark details. I also like to use always tap off really dark colors and then I can reuse that. So like if I'm, instead of going back to the re-inker, I can pull this ink from the stencil because it's not melting into the stencil. It's a piece of plastic you're putting it on, and then you can kind of bring it back in and see all of that. So who out there has Altenew inks? I bet Rachel does. And I know Carrie does. I saw Carrie out there. So this is a mini brush, not foam. It's actually a little bitty brush. Of all of the smaller brushes at Altenew, this one is my favorite. It's teeny and it's got bristles, but it really lets me put a whole lot of ink, especially if I want to create that more spotlight effect on my ink blending. Then it lets you bring in a whole lot of ink from the edge and without having to use a big brush and not know exactly where you're going. Okay. So I'm going to go in here. I'm getting all these details. These details take me just a second because I want to make sure I don't miss one. Because each of these little lines is a great like shadow in this flower that's going to make it look amazing. So Let's see what we got. So pretty. Lots of Altenew inks. Yeah, some Altenew inks. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of different types of inks. I really like Altenew for floral type things because it gives me so many different, they like to do these 4 things where it really fits their stencils. So I do like that for that reason. And these are made with like they're not foam pads, they're something else. I can't remember what the other kind of pad is called right now. Okay, so we'll get our little details going here. So if you are new or just popped in, don't forget to sign up for the Stress-Free Card Making Summit. That is happening, I guess that's next week, isn't it? That's the 16th through the 18th. And I'm teaching on infinity shaker cards there, and we'll be using some more Altenew products. So if you want to get that and check it out, then you'll have that option. Okay, let's look at what we're doing here. Okay, final reveal. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Whoa, look at that. That is awesome. Oh my goodness, I love that flower. So beautiful. Okay, let's decide here. I'm gonna have to stand up because I did not bring my paper trimmer over here, and can you see that I got just like a little bit of ink right there? All right, so I am going to trim that off. Let me grab my paper trimmer. And we're going to trim the tiniest little bit off. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off of its mat, and we're going to trim off that little spot that's a problem. And I'm going to use some different Altenew mats in this. There is an Altenew mat that I love for the ability to like line up your card. So I'm going to show you all that too. The teeniest bit. All right, so look at how small that was, but I got ink on it and I want this to be as crisp as it can be, so that's how we're working. Okay, so now I'm going to get some stuff out of the way, and I'm going to grab some other things because we're going to do some die cutting, and I'm going to show you how to build this shaker card. So I may have to stay standing up. Sorry if you're reading my lips for just a second. Let's look at what we might want to put as our sentiment too. Why don't we like take a vote in there? So the sentiment's going to need to fit like right inside this. I'll get it, but a lot of these would fit perfect. I kind of like have a beautiful day. You're the best. That's great. Kind of about how the area, how it fits the area, you know? So we are going to be using these 2 rectangles, and I really probably won't use this one because I've already got my card base. Let me see how this looks. And it's just 2 rectangles. These are from Waffle Flower. It's just to make us a frame. A lot of times with a shaker card, you need to have a frame so that you can build this up to create places for your shaker pieces, okay? Moving all this off the desk really quick. Because I don't want to accidentally get our colors. And I'm not going to stamp until after we've cut, okay? So I was saying earlier that I'm doing the Card Maker Success Summit. I'm sorry I'm out of the frame, but I'm probably going to stand up to do this die cutting. So I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I can check in on everybody. So here's the deal with making sure you got this lined up. You want to make sure that you have your square pretty even, okay? One for your tape, but also just so it looks even. And so I usually do that by look, but some people do that by like rulers, okay? So you can do whichever one is your favorite, but I'm going to be very cautious with this, okay? So you don't necessarily have to tape it down, and you don't want to make a spot on your paper. So you see how I'm taping it like right here, just so that it gets that edge and keeps it straight. This is a magnetic mat, so it does hold it pretty good, but it's one of those things where you want to be so careful when you're sending this through that you're not moving it, okay? Which sometimes is hard once you're picking it up. So let's see how I do picking it up. I have to move it off to the side so that I can get a hold of it. Okay, so always just kind of double check your lines. To me, that seems like it's about right. Okay. Okay, so here we go. We're going to send it through. Okay, now we have two pieces. We're going to keep those two pieces together. Okay, get our tape off. And then we'll do some stamping and we're going to build this shaker card out. Okay, so if they come apart, that's okay. You just want to kind of keep them together for how we're going to do this. So this is the outside edge, whoops, which I did not get all the way there. We had a cutting fail. Sure, that was my fault, but I'm going to trim it real quick. I'm just going to use scissors to trim it, okay? Let's see. So now we have a piece here, and we have our outside piece, which, like I said, did not cut all the way, so here we go. I'm going to use a couple scissors, which is hard to do sometimes when I'm live because I have to concentrate. Okay, there we go. Now we can get rid of our square pieces. We don't need those anymore. You're going to need your acetate, and I'm going to use a piece of white to kind of glue everything down, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this piece, okay, so that we'll have it ready, and then we'll glue everything down. Make sure you've got your image the right way. Oops. All right, that was pretty funny. So you'll need an extra piece of paper too, okay? But let's go ahead and stamp our image. What did we come up with as we think? Let's see, have a beautiful day. Let's see if anybody else thinks. Yes. Oh, Arlene, thank you. I hope you have a lovely Mother's Day as well. Let's see what fits here the best, okay? Get my stamp wheel out. Have y'all ever used a stamp wheel before? Tell me in the comments. Sorry. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it on this and we're gonna stamp our sentiment. Once again, I may have to stand up for this. So that mini magnetic mat is from the Anna Griffin Impress machine. It is a small mat that goes with it. I'm gonna have to stand up here to be able to see and stamp this, sorry. Here is what it looks like. It is the B magnetic mat. Okay, so you can see that. All right. Yay, Mary, she's got her ticket. Awesome. Okay, so here's how this is going to look. I love to take stamps and hold them over, and I usually kind of get a feeling of like the size and what I want to use. I think Love You Friend looks really good. You're the best. Did it start? Okay. You're the best. Fits really well. Sending Hugs fits really well. You could also stamp in the middle of your flower, but I kind of want to stamp on the edge. But it needs to be on this piece, because if you stamp this piece, this is your outside edge, and so we don't want to do that, okay? So let's see if we got it. We got things. Let's see what people say. I believe in you. You're the best. Yes, let's see where that is. Love you, friend. You're the best. You're the best fits pretty good. We love you fits pretty good. From Our Hearts fits pretty good. Love you, friend goes over into that just a little bit. Feel Better works pretty good. What about, I think we should go either Love, I Believe in You, or You're the Best. Let's go, I'm sorry, I'm trying to decide. Or From Our Hearts. I think it's gonna have to be From Our Hearts. I'm sorry, I just don't want to take up too much of the flower. So here it is. So that fits really nicely right there. It's still gonna go over your flower just a little bit. That's okay, because we're gonna stamp it in black ink, okay? Oh, somebody said Sending Hugs. Let's see how Sending Hugs fits, actually. I love you. Sending Hugs goes over a little bit too. We Love You fits more in that space. You can tell I'm doing these live. Okay, I don't like We Love You. I don't know why. Sending Hugs is good, and From Our Hearts is good. Let's go with Sending Hugs, actually. That's the one we'll do. Okay, put this back up. We'll get this stamped because we need this to kind of dry. Okay, so I'm going to sit down to stamp. Once I get there, let's see. Hi, Norma, how are you? Okay, got that mostly lined up. Looks pretty good. We're going to pick it up with the stamp wheel and we're going to stamp it in my favorite super dark black ink, which is VersaFine Clear. Okay, so here's the favorite black ink. We're going to stamp it a couple of times probably, okay? And then we'll let that dry while we build our shaker. I'm going to sit down if I can. Okay, so we got Sending Hugs on here. Let's see how we're doing. And then with the stamp wheel, you just fit it back into its area right here. Press down a little bit and then take it off. Okay, so we got Sending Hugs. I could have done that in the middle of the flower, but I like it. It looks nice. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little bit darker just to make sure we get a good, nice black stamp. And if ever you don't like your sentiment, you could always pop it up and put it on something. But with a shaker card like this, this is going to be the background. So I need everything on here to be flat so that all the sequins fall, okay, and do what they're supposed to. That looks very nice. Okay, and then I'm going to use this just to kind of clean off my stamp in case we need that again. We'll set this aside. I'm not even going to touch it because I don't want it to smudge at all. Okay, now we need to start building our shaker. Let me talk to you about how you do that. Okay, so everybody has gotten, let me pop up a couple things so that if you're new here, you got it. The Altenew exclusive code is right here. This is only for 2 days. So make sure that you take advantage of it if you can. And if you're going shopping this week, if you're buying yourself a Mother's Day present, which let's face it, most of us probably are. Okay, and then this is the summit where I'm teaching, okay, that's happening here. So next we're going to use some foam tape. Okay, so we're going to use, we're going to build our window. We need foam tape. We need double-sided adhesive. I need my piece of acetate here. So this, I know it's hard to see. This is a piece of clear acetate. And take these off here. Okay, clear acetate, okay? With clear acetate, you do not want to use glue, okay? And this acetate, since I had to trim that panel down, is just slightly too big. So let me trim this down just a little bit too. So what the acetate is doing is building us a window, okay? So that we can have our shaker pieces there. I'm gonna cut this down just like maybe 1/8 of an inch. And I'm gonna give it just a little bit shorter, just so I don't have any parts peeking out. Okay. All right, so cut those couple little pieces off. Get my acetate out of here. Okay, now you're gonna need double-sided adhesive. I am going to use this one. Do I have one that's the right size for, let me see. This one actually might work. I'm gonna use this one. This is my Altenew double-sided adhesive. Okay, we're gonna get that ready. And I'm gonna sit back down, sorry. Okay. Oh, good. Kim got herself a treadmill for Mother's Day. That's cool. That's a good idea. All right, so I've got this piece of acetate. We're not worrying about that just yet. We're gonna add our sticky tape to this, okay? And you're gonna make sure that you're adding your sticky tape towards, like that it covers things, but that it definitely catches that adhesive or that acetate so that you don't miss a spot, because what you don't want to happen is to have your window be open somewhere and those sequins sneak out, okay? So we're gonna go all along these edges. Oh, Rosemary says that stress-free card making thing is on her birthday. Well, that'd be kind of fun. I think I heard it pause. Did it pause? Okay. How's the pausing of the camera doing now? I hear it occasionally, but it seems like when I look up, it's already unpaused. Has it been pretty quick? Okay. So here we go. Adding this double-sided adhesive around here. and just trimming it off, just making ourselves a square. Okay, this is how we're going to attach the acetate. Okay. All right, tell me out there, how many of you have like never made a shaker card before? Are there a lot? Like, I'm trying to figure out how detailed we need to go. I'm going to do that. Okay, good. Okay, thank you, Terry, for letting me know. So when you want to peel this off, it usually helps to have something that's got like a point. This is an old tool from Ranger, and I know they make lots of different ones, but this is one of those things where it's easier for me to use because it peels the tape off so easily. Okay, so I'm peeling the backing off. Okay, very quick. Good. Thank you. So Joy, you have not made a shaker card? Okay, so the general premise of a shaker card is some type of shape that is popped up or popped down. You need a place to put those sequins, okay? So you got to have elevation or depression of your card, one of the two. You've got to have a window, which is what we're doing right now. So this is our window. This can be scrap plastic. It can be whatever you want. This particular acetate is something that I've had forever. I'm actually not even sure where it's from, but it's a nice thickness. And then I'm going to line it up and make sure I've got my whole window taken care of, okay? See how we got a window now? I love shaker cards too. They're so fun. I don't do them enough, but I do love them. So I see a little piece of acetate right here, so I'm going to trim that off. So I don't want that to be seen on my card. Now we have a window. Now we need elevation or depression, okay? So we're elevating, and how we're going to elevate today is with foam tape, okay? So this is foam tape. You see how it's got some height to it right here? I'm actually going to do 2 layers because these sequins, you need to make sure you have enough room for your sequins to move. And these new sequins from Altenew they're not flat back, so they've got lots of they've got a little bit of lift to them, if you can see that. So you need to make sure you've accounted for that much space or it won't move, okay? Oh, Stephanie said she made 4 shaker cards last night. How cool. Okay, so we're about to get to one of my favorite tips about these, but first it is about containing your sequins, okay? So you have got to make sure your corners match up. Make sure there's no space for those sequins to escape, or you're gonna be like, oh man, or else it'll just be like a shaker envelope when somebody gets it, okay? So I'm gonna have to bring this just a little bit closer to me to see this. And I'm just gonna go along the edges like I did with the tape. And I'm going to trim, and I'm going to do 2 layers of this, okay, because I want mine to have a lot of shape to it, okay? And then we'll look at what you do to keep the shaker pieces from sticking to the sides. So while I'm doing this, do y'all want to see that card that I'm making at the, let me see if I've got it again. I was looking to see if I could show y'all the card that I was making from the Card Maker Success Summit, but I may have set it somewhere that I can't find, so never mind on that part. But in my, oh, here it is. So this shaker card does not have height to it. It's called an infinity shaker card. So this one doesn't have a frame like this. It's a different way of making it, which is what I'm teaching at the Stress-Free Card Making Summit. So just FYI, most shaker cards have a window like this, but they don't have to. We can get around that if you don't. And if you don't have foam tape, you can get around this by creating more, lots of layers with your paper. So I could have cut out a ton of these rectangle frames and just stacked them up, and that would have been fine. There's some advantages of that and disadvantage of that. One, to me, it just takes a long time. So that's kind of its disadvantage. The advantage is that it's not, since this foam tape is an adhesive, it is a little bit sticky on its inside edges. And when you have inside edges that are sticky, the pieces want to stick to them. So I'm going to show you how to get around that. But it's one of those things where, whatever. Now, as far as this goes, I said you do not want a hole where your little sequins can sneak out. You see how this is overlapping a little bit? I am going to make my cut not exactly at the part. I'm going to make it over about 1/8 of an inch and tuck this in. Probably not even 1/8. See how this little piece, let me hold it up to the camera. You see You see how that little piece is sticking out? I'm just going to use my fingernails and get it flush. Okay, you see? So now I have a very tight container, okay, to hold those sequins that are not going to fall out. Does that make sense to everybody? Thank you, Trisha. It's good to know. So since I'm going to do 2 layers, I'm going to go ahead and take off the adhesive part of this, and we'll go around with our second layer. And then we were going to do some stuff to keep the static from sticking to all our sequins. Okay, so you got to go ahead. I guess you don't have to remove the adhesive, but I feel like they stick together better because what you're putting on there is going to have adhesive to it. So you probably don't have to remove the backing, but I like them to really stick together. So that's what I'm going to do. So try not to get it stuck to my hand here. And we'll go back and we'll do the same thing. And this is just to give more height, okay? It does make it tricky because it's sticking up and sticking to your hands and such. Okay, trim this piece. So now we've got double height, which I think is probably about 3 millimeters would be my guess, maybe 4 if I was guessing. Can't be 100% sure on that, but I think that's probably about how tall this is. And it just gives, the higher you make your shaker, I feel like the better the little pieces shake. So I'm gonna keep making my box here. Let's see if we got any questions right now, anything y'all have seen on my YouTube channel that you want me to talk about. I can answer questions while I make this little container here. Hopefully all of y'all saw my video from last week. We did a lot of fun like papers and adding texture. It was really fun. That one was a butterfly card if you don't remember. And then last week we did that live too. So we got a couple lives in a row. I usually am like a 1 live a month type person. Now that I got Rachel's help, we'll see if she can handle doing more than that, or if I can handle doing more than that. How about that? Can always get there. Okay, so now, sorry, I need to cough just a little bit. Okay, so here's our little thing here. I am gonna have to cough. I'm gonna try to mute my microphone, but if I don't, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, hopefully that's fine. All right, so now we need to get our card together. So we've got our nice little frame here that's gonna hold our sequins. You can always test if your sequins will work by putting them in here, but before you do that, let's make it not staticky, okay? So I'm gonna use a powder tool, sorry. I'm gonna use a powder tool. And this powder tool I like because it has a little nice brush that's small, and I can go ahead and put Julie, how is your stress levels trying out a sitting demo? It's good, except there's things that I need to stand up for. And I'm like, how do people do this when they need to stand up? I guess they're just used to crafting sitting, but I am taking this powder and I'm going all along the inside edge. And you want to do this until you don't feel like it's sticking to the brush anymore. Sorry, did it stop? Sorry about that. Okay, so you want to do this. I know, so crazy. So there we go. Now we're not frozen anymore. Sorry about that. So we're going to go all the way around this with the powder, and we're just making sure that the inside of this sticky tape is not sticky anymore. Okay. Sorry about that pause in there. Okay. Now, how I usually check is I run my finger along it and make sure that nothing sticks to my finger. I feel a little sticky right here, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now we got that and it's ready. Let's test it with our sequins. So these are the biggest sequins that I'm going to use. Okay, these are the biggest ones that I'm using. And I want to make sure that they are not, actually lift this up, not taller than that tape. See, I've got plenty of room for them to move. You see that? Plenty of room to move, okay? Yes, we're going to dump some of them out. All right. And let's line up our other card. I'll probably stand up for this part too to line up my card. I wanted to show you this thing that really helps me do this. And it's right here. So this is another sticky mat from Altenew, and I know it's the same color as my mat, so it may be hard to see that, but it has a grid on it, and this a lot of times helps me lay out my card really well, and make sure that I've got everything kind of in the corners. So I'm going to go to the corner, tell that we got a little smaller panel here, and I've got a plain white piece. So we have a plain white piece for a reason. Let me show you. We need something for this to stick to. You could do this as your card base, but I feel like it's a little bit harder. I'm going to put this in here. Okay, we'll make sure we got a good fit because we need to line it up just right. And having that white there is helpful. Hey Norma, thanks. Yeah, definitely rewatch and play along. Okay, so you're trying to get your items to match up just right. Okay, we'll do that with this. It may mean that we need to cut a little bit or whatever, but that's going to be fine. Okay, so let's see how everyone's doing. Doing good? Throwing away a little bit of trash here. And we're going to use some more adhesive. Probably going to use glue on this part because I want to make sure that I get my panel where I want it. So we're going to use some glue in case I want to move it around a little bit. Okay. You don't want so much glue that you might cause problems. Okay. You don't want to. So for this one, you could just take it, stick it like this and hope it goes in, but I think it makes a little bit more sense if I adjust my frame around this. So I'm just going to kind of put this down, and I can always trim things if I need to. But you do need to make sure it's level. So I'm going to make sure I've got myself a level card here. Alrighty. It's level. Okay. All right. I got just a little bit, something on there. I'm going to get that off. This is what a mono eraser's for. If you've got a little spot that's kind of darker on your panel. I'm not even sure what that's from, but I got just a little dot. It may not matter because it's going to have sequins over it, but sometimes these little mono erasers will work great. Okay, now we're going to line this up, but before we do that, we need to put our sequins on. And I've got a few sequin options. Okay, so this is like one of those things that when I'm making a shaker card, sometimes I forget to do, and it causes so much trouble if you forget to put your sequins in. So I usually I'm putting in lots of different sizes. That's what I love about these new sequins from Altenew, is that they come in all these different sizes. I just think that makes it look exciting. Hopefully that's going to stop pausing. Sorry, I'm losing it there. Okay, there we go. All right, so I've got my little bitty sequins in here. I'm going to put some different sizes in to create some interest. Okay, and you don't want to make them so tall that you can't fit your base on it, but I just kind of put like a general, what I think would look good over the piece. So there's not like any recipe that says like, oh, you have to have this many sequins. I do make sure that my sequins are kind of spread apart and flat so that they're not all sticking together, because if you can, I don't know if you could see that or not, but right here, yeah, there you go. Okay, so we want to get them all into our center and not too stacked up. Yeah, they're talking about the different anti-static powders. You could use baby powder, you could use cornstarch, whatever you want to use. Okay. All right, so when I get it and I decide what I'm going to do, I can go ahead and kind of look and see if that's enough sequins or not. I think I might want just a few more. I'm going to put just a few more on there. Yeah, that's a good idea with the, Rachel, with the shaker. Anti-static powder. Okay, put a couple more on there. Now, here we go. I'm gonna make sure they're all out of your way. And then we're gonna undo this release paper and we're gonna place it. Once again, I'm gonna have to be standing up to do that. You can also add a little bit of glue if you want to make sure that you can slide it around. But with this one, I know this white base is slightly bigger, so I can always trim off the edges if I need to. Make sure you got your flower lined up. That's part of what makes this so cute. Yes, you can glue sequins down if you want them to stay in a certain place. I generally don't, but you can do whatever you want to do. I actually am going to put a little bit of glue on this bottom edge so that I can move it around and be sure I know where I'm going. Just be cautious that you're not getting your glue on your acetate, okay? And there's like a little piece of something right here. Let's see if I can get off. I don't know where that came from. It might have been in my bag of sequins. I got this little black dot here, and I, can't handle it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna kind of line up so that we've got our nice flower on here. So just kind of line your stencil up with your frame. Make sure you got it on your sides here. Okay, there we go. All right, I got it pressed down. You can see I'm a little bit off, so I will have to do some trimming, but generally, that looks amazing. And then I've got, you can also add a backing to it too, so, okay. All right. Okay, so I also brought this out because I thought it could look really cool, like on a pink background too. Look at that. That's the Frosty Pink from Altenew. It's their cardstock, and it matches those inks. I love that they have an option for cardstock that makes inks. So I'm going to add this to that backing as well. So then we've got our cute little shaker pieces. Look at how glorious those look. Oh my goodness. They look adorable. So I'm going to need to add some glue to the back of this, and then I'm going to put it on here. But before I do that, see how I've got like a little edge here? Can y'all see that at all? There's a couple little edges that I was just slightly off of my alignment, so I'm going to just go in and trim off. I know that probably nobody cares, but sometimes I do. So I'm going to trim these edges off. Let me see if I can take a look at the chat real quick and see what's going on. Everything's doing good? Oh, thank you guys. Y'all like the card? So see what I mean about like elegant shakers? You know, there's like happy birthday shakers, there's all those things, but we can make floral shakers. Like, who doesn't want their, I mean, you've already got this gorgeous rose. Why not add some amazing shaker elements to it and create this cute flower? Okay, to line this last piece up, I'm going to need to stand up. So I'm trying to get my face in where, if you're reading my lips, you can do that. Hopefully I've got it. Okay. Now we're going to put this on here. I definitely prefer to do this with glue. Let me get some sequins out of the way. And you could go back, like if you are okay with how thick your card is, you can put sequins on the outside too if you want, but you can also glue some on the inside. I just find that when I glue them on the inside, that it's like a pinball, you know, like sometimes it just doesn't quite work out right and they get stuck somewhere. So I'm going to add some glue to here. Okay. And we'll go here. So are y'all excited to try Altenew sequins? Do you have lots of sequins already? I like that the colors kind of go with a lot of their colors. Sorry. You know me, I have to like pay attention when I'm lining this up here. Okay, I feel like that looks good. Okay, I'm going to use an acrylic block just to hold it down for a second, make sure it stays. Okay, we'll see. So, yes, that's a great Mother's Day card, isn't it? Too bad I've already put mine in the mail, although I still think it might be late to my mom. Oh, goodness, she's going to be upset. But I'll call her. I'll FaceTime her. Be like, it's on the way. It's a work of art. Got to understand those take some time sometimes. Okay, tell me what's going on. All right. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Yes, I am a pink fan for sure, but you know, I love using all colors. I think I'm just a fan of color in general. Okay, let's see if I got that to stay. Yeah, I did. Okay, let's do a little shaking of this. I'm going to show you what I'm going to make in the stress-free card making for the extra class, because I want y'all to be able to see, if you do decide to do the VIP ticket, what I'm making for that private class. Hang on. Okay, so here's our card. Oh my goodness, look at those sequins. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so I will also be putting another version of this card, which I showed you briefly at the beginning. This one showing you how I made both of these soon in a regular YouTube video too. So pop into that to catch the details and see a couple of different cards made different with the shaker elements, okay? Teresa, thank you so much. That was gorgeous. Let me show you what I'm going to make in the Stress-Free Card Making Summit. I'll pop that up. I'm going to pop up the code again. This is the exclusive code that Altenew gave me for you to shop so that you can get a lot of supplies for my next class. So my next class is going to be at the Stress-Free Card Making Summit. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use for it. So if you are purchasing things and you want to have all the supplies, you'll have it. Let me pop that off the screen. Okay, it's on, this is what it's called, Stress-Free Card Making Summit. Okay, so this is the card, the main card that I'm making, which I've showed you already, okay? I have an extra video for the people who have a paid ticket that uses these same supplies to make 2 more cards, okay? So here are the 2 cards that we make for the extra video. So you end up with 3. It's looking at different ways to make the shaker card versus using stencils in a different way. Let me get these off getting these off, sorry. Okay, so it's got lots of different options. So that's for the paid ticket holders. This is for the main thing. Thanks so much, guys. If you're heading out, let me show you all these products here. Boom, boom, boom. So this is the type of inks that I'm using. Yeah, you can definitely make something similar on a Cricut. You don't have to have these supplies to do this. I just am showing you what I'm using in case you're going shopping. So this is the stencil that I use. It makes this crazy floral here, and I only used blue. We did like all monochromatic because I really liked how these sequins looked with this. I just thought they looked pretty cool. So that's what we'll be making in the main part. If you don't do the free ticket and you do the paid ticket, we'll have that extra class. Tell me, are there any questions? The extra class will be making these too. This one has a really fun technique for stencils that I was playing with, and I really like how it turned out. Tell me, any other questions? Yeah, you can use any large floral. That's perfectly fine. No big deal. You can use whatever you want. So today we made this. We used Mega Blossom, and this is called, what is this called? Classic Greetings. Yeah, Classic Greetings if you're looking for this stamp set. This stamp set has come in so handy. I love this one. It's a great one. Yeah, if you already have lots of sequins, use what you've got, you know? It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Let's see. That was Cindy. Oh yeah, Carrie. Thanks, April. Thank you for coming, April. I appreciate that. Thank you, Donna. I'm glad y'all liked it. If there's not any other things, I'll let you know. I am at almost 10K on Instagram. I don't know if you understand how long it takes to get to 10K on Instagram and what that means for me. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, please make sure to hop over and do that. I need 90 people, and it makes me an official influencer when I hit 10K. It means that I might actually get paid by Instagram somehow, hopefully, for some of these reels and all this content I'm making. So it really makes a difference in my life. If you're on Instagram, make sure to find me. I'm Nicki Hearts Cards. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and thank you so much, Rachel, for helping out with the moderation. You made a humongous difference in my life. She's popping in all kinds of links. She's popping in the links to my Facebook group that lets you share, and we just have a good time. We have a group. I also have a group for techie people who are learning to share their cards and want to learn more about it. So just find me out there. I would love to see you and connect with you on different platforms. I appreciate all of you being here. Make sure to use that Altenew coupon code because that lets them know that it's worth doing again, okay? So somebody's got to use that coupon code. It's right here, Nicki, okay? Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate all of you. I will sign off. Bye.